Happy spooky season, everyone. I'm back today to talk about another horror film, as per usual. This one also brought to me by Shudder, which I always am appreciative of. And this is another film that I've seen the poster for a couple of times, but really didn't know anything about. And the movie I'm going to be talking about today is The Dark Night of the Scarecrow. Dark Night of the Scarecrow is directed by Frank De Felitta. Bubba, an intellectually disabled man, is falsely accused of attacking a young girl. Disguised as a scarecrow, he hides in a cornfield, only to be hunted down and shot by 4 vigilante men. After they are acquitted due to lack of evidence, the men find themselves being stalked one by one. So, the beginning of this film, as the plot description said, I had no idea what this movie was going to be like, and it is brutal. The first few minutes, you're introduced to Bubba, who is a mentally handicapped man. He's in his 30s. You can tell very early on that he has a disability, and he's with this young girl. She's probably like 6 or 7, and they're playing out in the field together. And you can tell there's a moment where they're playing this game, and they're using like a Hawaiian lei, and the little girl says something where, like, you have to kiss me or something like that. And you can tell really early on that, like, even though he has that disability, like, he's really hesitant to that, and, like, has this clear understanding early on of, like, the fact that him and this young girl have an age gap. And I think that's what's really great is the filmmakers at any moment in this film aren't demonizing people that have mental handicaps. It's shown really early on how they look at this character and how they perceive this character. And so they're playing together, and they end up going to this house, and the little girl sees a fountain, and she wants to go in and see it, and Bubba says over and over again, hey, don't go in there, you don't need to go in there and see it. And this dog jumps out and just starts barking viciously at the both of them. And he ends up jumping on the girl and biting her, and Bubba goes in there and takes the little girl away and saves her from the dog, or so he thinks. Well, when he gets her out, he realizes she's not breathing. He takes her home to his mother, who they end up getting her to the hospital. And then he says, like, hey, they're going to come for me. I don't know what's going to happen. And his mom says, go play the hiding game. And so he goes outside to their field, and he puts on a scarecrow mask and an outfit, and he hides like he's a scarecrow. So these 4 men in the town, who are these brute, moronic rednecks, come around, and they're always making fun of him and are so awful to him because of his handicap. And it's shown really on how unlikable these people are. And they end up going and tracking him down, and the guy sees Bubba's eyes through the mask. He sees his eyes through the mask, and right after he sees that, they all have guns on him. He shoots him, and all the other guys end up shooting him. Well, they end up going to court, and the court decides that they don't have enough to prove that Bubba didn't attack them first, and so they don't sentence them to any jail time. And so the men get out, and some time goes by. The mother is just completely at a loss because her son was taken from her. She's already gone through so much because of the fact that her son had this handicap. An entity starts coming around the town to kill these men off one by one, and it's seemingly the Scarecrow from the cornfield. I absolutely loved this movie, and I think one of the reasons why I loved it so much is it kind of stays away from the slasher tropes. You do have people getting picked off one by one, but you don't really see who's doing it, even like hands or anything. It's all situational, and some of it gets a little goofy at times, which is fine. It's 1980s horror films, it's the spooky season. I'm all about cheesy corniness in a film. I always have fun with stuff like that. But what I really like is this tension building up to who's doing this. Someone's killing them off. Someone's taking care of them one by one. The third act is really surprising. I did not expect the movie to end the way that it ended, and it was really fantastic. And I thought, for the most part, the tension and the atmosphere in this movie is just so great. You're really just kind of drawn in to this small town atmosphere. You immediately hurt for this mother who loses her son, and you're ready to watch these idiot rednecks get picked off one by one because they're all horrible people. It's depicted really early on just how terrible they are. I really loved this movie. I just thought it was so much fun. It was entertaining. It had that fall atmosphere that I just absolutely love this time of year. I love movies that are set around Halloween. I feel like that gets me even more in the mood and excited for the season. And this is one that if you haven't seen, just go watch it. You'll have a great time. I feel like this is one that isn't really heavily talked about compared to a lot of the 1980s horror classics that we hear about consistently. So if you have a Shudder subscription, it's on there right now. Go watch it. It's totally worth your time. So have you seen Dark Knight of the Scarecrow? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was wonderful. It was so much fun. It was really well done, and I'm looking forward to seeing it again. As always, if you like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.